financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to Law and Reality. Today's topic is the estate planning mistakes you don't want to make. Jenny Lingl, good morning.
Hi, Ken. Good to be here today.
Ladies first, I did it right.
Yes, you did.
Pat Samasco, nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
And Brian Small.
Always a pleasure. Good morning, Ken.
All right, let's get at it. Sounds like Como from CNN. Let's get at it on 9 o'clock p.m. Let's begin with mistakes in the category of I don't have the right documents. Everything's going to be categorized today. Okay, number one document you don't have. No durable power of attorney.
Right.
What's that about?
Well, the durable power of attorney is a financial power of attorney. And if you don't have one in place, if you get sick or you're out of town or you need some financial transaction and you don't have that document, no one can sign your name. We know your wife can sign your name better than you, but she's not legally allowed to.
I could sign my father's name really well when I was in middle school.
Right. Oh, for all your the report cards.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, but if you don't have that, no one has authority to do business for you. And if you need it, you need it.
Well, do most people have it or not have it?
I say most people don't. I mean, the reality is this is a really important document. People think, oh, I can just sign for my spouse. I can sign for my kid, whatever. And the reality is that you don't need it until you need this document. And then suddenly you're scrambling around trying to get this done. It can be as simple as a power of attorney can be as simple as something that is used just to, say, close a real estate sale. Your spouse is out of town, you were buying the house, the closing got delayed. How do you get it done when the spouse is out of town on work?
You know, that's
a limited power of attorney allows that to happen.
One thing the spouse always says, oh, I don't need one because we're on everything together. We're on the bank accounts together, we're on all the assets together, which is true. On the checking account, husband or wife can do it, but they're on the house together, but it takes two signatures to sell it.
Now, what happens if you don't have it and
You
something
got to go
happens?
to probate court. You have
Right,
to go
well,
to
as long as you have your faculties together, I can always, like, if I want to give a power of attorney to my wife and I'm okay, I can just have the power of
sign
attorney.
one real fast.
Yeah,
The problem is, what if I'm
sure.
incapacitated and I
Right.
don't have legal
You
capacity?
need it signed a day before you get sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
You run into that a lot with elder law planning,
All the
right? Because you need to transfer assets
For
just
planning,
before they're
yeah.
going into the nursing
And
home.
that's the second that a lot of people have power of attorneys, but they were signed 35 years ago when they were going to Disney on a vacation. And they need to be upgraded. And with all the new laws changing and complex Medicaid planning, you need to have the language in a power of attorney that I need. They're not all the same. They're all different. So you need a comprehensive
Yeah, I
one.
see a lot of them coming from, say,
UAW.
I was going to say UAW Legal Services.
Great lawyers, but they're just using sort of
They're using an old
outdated
form.
documents, yeah.
Probably comes off of DOS on the computer.
No, they come off with a
with a
print.
blue screen.
Yeah, right.
White print. All right, so that's an element of an estate plan.
That's
It's a
the
durable
financial
power
power
of
of attorney.
What about patient advocate?
Well,
Wait,
that's
wait,
different.
before we get there, I want to make sure everybody understands, it's not just important for your spouse or for you to have one as an
Or your
adult.
parent.
It's
Kids.
important for your kids, for you to have power of attorney over your kids. You think that you can make a financial decision for your kid. Well, you can't.
With college now,
my daughter
going to
had
college,
had a problem with her tuition bill at Michigan State, and
What, you didn't pay it?
no, they put an
That used to
extra.
happen to me all the time when I was in college.
They put an extra zero on the bill, and so she calls me up, says, "Can you take care of it?" So I called up and said, "Hi, this is what's going on," and the woman on the other end says, "I can't talk to
Right.
you because you're not authorized on the account." I said, "Well, I happen to have power of attorney over my daughter. Can I just email you that?" Sure enough, emailed it over, was able to resolve the
Yeah.
problem, got the zero removed, and made it down to the reasonable bill or unreasonable bill, that however you may wish to see it. But I was able to do that for my child when you normally think that you can do those things for your kid.
Let me give you an example when the power of attorney in that situation doesn't work. True life story. Second semester of law school, at midway through this contracts class, the professor says to the whole room, "Mr. Gross, please be sure and see me at the end of class." I'm saying, law school, contracts professor, what could I possibly have done? So I go and I see Miss Spinlater was her name, and she says, "I don't know what to tell you, but I got a memo from the registrar that says if you haven't settled your account balance, you can't sit in class on Monday."
Ooh.
Now, all the powers of attorney in the world, durable powers of attorney in the world, were not going to put money in my father's bank account in order to pay that tuition bill. That's the only
Right.
point. I'd share that.
Yeah.
Somehow we scrambled and I got through law
Yeah.
school.
People think I have a power of attorney, it covers everything. You need a financial one and you need a medical one. That's so the next segue
The
is
patient
the
advocate.
the patient advocate form. You need two separate documents.
All right, so the healthcare one, the patient advocate does what? When do you use that?
Makes the medical decision. If you get sick, and like I just had that operation, if I was under the anesthesia and I couldn't make the decision, I have a medical power of attorney that my wife can make that decision
It allows
for me.
somebody to replace you as president of the United
So
States.
it's like the 25th Amendment
Yeah,
for
right,
families.
right. Is that what it? Okay. But that's what it allows someone to make your medical decisions if you become incapacitated.
And I think that's the same thing when our kids hit that 18,
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
up
same
until
thing,
that
yeah.
point, you know, we could call the doctor's office, we could get test results, we could make the appointments, move things around for them, and then all of a sudden, those kids
Right.
turn 18
My-
and
My daughter turned 18, and I said, "Happy birthday, here's your present, sign here."
Right. It's for those hold my beer
I'm
and
sure there
walk.
were at least 2 other people in the world that did exactly
Yeah.
that on the 18th birthday.
It's the hold my beer and watch this moment. Every kid has it in college, you know, so you need that medical power of attorney for that.
Certainly an important thing. All right, another one coming up. We probably won't get through it until the break, but what about guardianship provision for minor children?
Very
That's in the will.
important. It's got to be in
So
the
you,
will.
so you need to have a will so that you have it. So if you have minor children and something happens to both parents, who's going to take care of your kids?
That was the biggest fight that we had in our office was that with the Tara Grant case, if you remember that old case.
We're coming up to a break. When we come back, let's tell us.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember it.
Yeah,
let
you
hear it.
will.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're talking about the need for guardianship. What were you going to
Yeah, so we had the case, and a lot of people remember the Tara Grant case where the husband killed his wife, chopped up her body, hid her in the Stony Creek Park, and then when this park was being searched, brought the torso back, and they found the body in the garage, and Stephen, the husband, fled through northern Michigan. The problem is when he got caught and he's in jail, who's going to have the kids?
How old were the kids?
Oh, they were 5 and 7, little
So
tiny.
he was raising the kids in the house?
What
Well,
happened
he
was,
married.
no, when he...
Well, they were married.
Yeah, they were
But
married.
still, after the,
Yeah, so it took a while for them to find out that he was the one that did it to be charged. So when he was in jail, his sister fought for the kids, and then Tara's sister, Alicia, who actually got the kids, was the appropriate.
So
it was
the
a
two
war
sisters fighting for custody of the
because
kids?
there was no guardian listed in the will. So then at that point, it was up to the judge to
See, a
decide.
lot of people think that I don't have any money, so I don't need to do estate planning.
Right, your most
And
precious
the mo-
asset
But
is
yeah,
your kids.
Your
and
kids.
I don't have any land, I don't have anything, so there's nothing to pass on. The reality is the will for minor children is one of the most important documents you could ever create.
well, a lot of times I've had my friends say, well, what's the likelihood that, we're both going to die? If my spouse dies, then I'll do it. And I says, well, how often do you get in the
Travel
car,
together.
just you and your spouse?
Well, the answer is it's unlikely, thank God, but it
Same car
blank
accident.
does happen. That's what it comes down
We've
to.
had
Yeah.
thousands of wills done. We've had 2 cases where we needed the guardianships on that, so thank God. But the risk is so huge. And for such an easy document
Right.
to have prepared,
I mean,
why
it's-
not do
If you
it?
think about it, it's almost a responsibility that you
Yeah.
have as a parent.
That's
to
the
look out
reason
for
why
your children.
parents don't do it, though, because they can't make the decision. Who are they always fight, do we pick your sister or your
Yeah,
brother?
it's always
and
a
if they,
sibling.
And then all of a sudden, they don't make the decision. They put their head in the sand.
And the funny thing is that, you know what? It's the surviving spouse. If you
They decide.
they're the
Right.
one that decides. They're
Yeah.
going to change the will, whatever
Right.
to who they want it to be. Now, if they go at the same time, that's an interesting problem. One spouse chose their sister, or one spouse chose their brother. You're still back in court.
Well, they don't. Well, it's the last one. So if you died first, your wife isn't the survivor. It's her will that decides at that point.
So the
Most
question
people
is,
pick
if it's a simultaneous death, then you have an issue of you have to determine who passed
Yeah.
away first.
It's a long drive home from the office when they're having the fight on who should be. I don't want your mom and I don't want your brother. But you got to do it.
Well, I think it's
You
something
have
that
to
should
do it.
also change over time
Oh, yeah.
because when
And
you
it
do
can.
it when you have a newborn, maybe you're looking at the grandparents as opposed to when that child is 10 and maybe the grandparents, health has
Little
failed
older,
or brother or
But
sister
you're right.
had
I can
issues.
remember several meetings with clients where we raised that issue, and even though they don't get into the argument in the office, you can see body language and looks where one's thinking about
Yeah.
their sibling, the other one's thinking about the other, and they're kind of looking at each other, and you can say,
Yeah.
this is not going to be an easy decision
The-
to make. But they always make it if
Yeah.
they do right plan.
The
proper
fight
planning.
is usually over who watches the kids, but they all can agree that they want the one brother to watch over the money for the kids.
Yeah.
So that's where a trust agreement comes in. The guardianship is in the will day to day, but that stops at age 18. But would you give an 18-year-old money? You need a revocable trust agreement
it all
then
depends
to.
on what color Corvette you think that
Well,
they,
that's
that they're
true.
gonna
If you
buy.
wanted to, or what tattoo they want on which arm. So you need a trust agreement.
And how
to
much can they possibly pay for that tattoo?
Well, they can't pay anything because they don't have any money. But if you give them $200,000 or $300,000 as an inheritance,
They'll have a lot of
it's gone in
tattoos.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
The money.
The 18-year-old will spend the money. Theoretically, the 30-year-old won't
Right.
flush it down the toilet
Right.
as quickly.
Theoretically.
That's theoretical. I mean, what I've always found on that issue is as you get older as the estate planner, meeting with the client, your perceptions change. I remember when I first got out of law school, I was doing some estate planning for clients, and I was 28. And clients would come in and say, well, we don't want to give the money to our kids until they're 30, 35, and 40, or 35, 45, and 55. And I'd say to myself, why are you making them wait so long? Then as I got older and I had children and they were in the teenage era, and the clients would say, oh, we want to give the money to them at 25, 30, and 35. I'd say,
no.
are you crazy? You got to make it, you got to stretch it out. Now my kids are grown. I'm a grandparent, I have grandchildren, they're responsible, and now I've revised it so that I've made it quicker to them because they're in a stable situation. It always
Except
changes.
this situation. If you give them the money at age 25, they're responsible, it's theirs. That means if they get divorced 5 years later, it's theirs.
Right.
So if you hold on to the money longer, if they get sued, if they go through bankruptcy, if
Weather
they get
the
divorced,
storms.
it's not their money, it's the trust money. So it's protected from those
It's about
risks.
weathering the storms that are going to come, and we all know that those things
They're-
happen.
yeah.
You know, no family goes through the process without one of the children either getting divorced or having some type of financial
Right.
issues. It always
And
happens.
this is the rule. If you have 5 kids and you can look at your family and you can't pick that kid, that means you're that kid. You're going to be that kid with those problems. So you have to plan for that, and you have to have the.
The kids don't have 5 kids.
Don't have 5
Then
kids. You know, in China, they never have family problems when a parent dies. They never, ever, ever have family problems when a parent
The
dies.
state takes all the
Why?
money?
No, they only have 1 kid.
Oh, no,
They only have one kid.
Solves that problem. All right, next one, and then is you've signed documents, but these are not the documents you should have signed. This is a big estate planning problem.
It's the deed.
Example,
Quitclaim deeds.
did a quitclaim deed, put my kid on the deed, as my kids as joint tenants with rights of survivorship.
Old
What's
school
going on there?
estate planning. What you've done is locked your property up so that you have no control over it anymore. It does go where you want it to
Well,
go.
let me tell you why I did it. I did it because I don't have a will and trust. I'm a widow, and I want to make sure that my house passes to my children when I pass away, and I don't want it to go through probate. So this older attorney that I met suggested that I do that.
It's a disaster. When we come back from the break, I'll tell you why.
Wait a second. I'm the one who says when we're going to a break. When we come back from the break, you'll tell us why.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
It's time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us for Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m., Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m., on KISS 105.9 FM on Sundays at 7 a.m., and then for Law and Reality Here and Now on WMUZ AM 1200, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., and WMUZ FM on Saturdays at 11 o'clock p.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $50 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and a copy of your book, Dump Your Debt. Just go to the website. On the home page, there's a spot to pop in your email address, and you're entered into the contest. We have seminars coming up. On Wednesday, October 17th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., estate planning is not optional. We're going to go through all the elements of an estate plan, documents you must have while living, documents addressing your death and how you leave your assets to your children and your family, how to address probate issues. Attendees receive a $300 gold certificate off the cost of an estate plan. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Then on Wednesday, November 7th, 6 to 7:30 p.m., one of my favorite titles of all time for a seminar, it is, I'd rather eat turkey than be a debt turkey. We're going to go through all the systems and methods. I know all of you out there are laughing at the title, but it's a great title because you're going to remember it. You want to eat turkey, do not be a debt turkey. You want to preserve future income for you and your family, solutions using bankruptcy, solutions outside of bankruptcy for debt resolution. The key point that you need to realize is that if you're paying too much interest on credit card debt, you need to take action to get rid of it. Whether it's a bankruptcy or debt resolution, doesn't matter. The key is not allowing yourself to continue down that path. Attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Jenny Lingl is going to participate and do a special segment on tax problems and how to resolve tax issues. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Remember, you can always come in to THAV Gross for a free consultation. Just go to the website and click on the appropriate box, and we will contact you and schedule the consult, or you can call 888-235-HELP. If you've got debt or estate planning issues, you can meet with Brian, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, tax issues with Jenny, business issues with myself, disability and workers' comp issues with Jeff Kirshner. Just take advantage of those free consultations. It's not a meet and greet. We sit down, we analyze the problem, we figure out how to solve your solution in the best possible way, and then you know what your options are, you know what it's going to cost, and you know the right path to follow. We've got free reports on the website, how to save your home from foreclosure, business formations, loans, and grants for small businesses in Detroit and Michigan, Pat Samasco's Retiree's Guide to Social Security, and an upcoming new report on resolving tax problems, the real solutions by Jenny Lingl and myself. Look for that. It will be available shortly. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Nothing provokes panic and fear like the threat of a school shooting. Unfortunately, we've seen a sharp increase in students making copycat threats in order to gain notoriety. I'm Macomb County Prosecutor Eric Smith. Students, this behavior will not be tolerated. Felony charges will be brought against anyone who threatens the safety of our schools. Parents, please talk to your children and pass along this message. If you threaten our schools, it will cost you your future.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Okay, so we were saying when we came to the break, when you tried to seize the break, that
Seize the day. Carpe
this
diem.
deeding the property to my children, putting both children's name on it with rights of survivorship is a mistake. Why? What's the big problem?
All
with
right,
that?
so like I said, you give up dominion and control. So give you an example. I have a client who's 92 years old who came to see me with his daughter. He put his son, his daughter, and himself on the property, joint tenants with full rights of survivorship.
Got it. Same situation.
He needs to sell the property.
So what? It's his property. He can't sell it?
It isn't his property. It's his property, his daughter's property,
So
and his
daughter
son's
has to
property.
sign the deed and son has to sign the deed.
Right.
Okay, so what's the problem?
He had a falling out with his son 10 years ago. He doesn't talk to him anymore, and the son's blackmailing him to keep him from selling the property. All
Seen
he-
that before.
Yeah. And so he can't sell the property. He's got a
Solution?
solution. There isn't a solution in this case. It's an indivisible piece of property. You can go to court till you're blue in the face, and a judge can't order it sold.
What the people do a lot of times, and they're told to do this, is just don't record the deed until after they pass away.
In this case, he did record the deed.
It can go good,
Yeah,
but it
because
also
as long
can go
as father
horrible,
has
yeah.
the deed that's not
Yeah,
recorded,
that's
he can
the
rip
problem.
it up. Yeah.
If you have the perfect family, things like that work all the time. But if you don't know that your family's going to not be perfect in the future, it can
There's
go
a perfect
horribly
family
wrong.
somewhere?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
The Cleavers. That
Yeah.
was TV.
There's
Yeah.
no such thing, because
There
then
is.
you have the perfect family and then your child gets married and then the spouse disagrees, and then all of a sudden, even though your child would have done, now they're kind of going and the spouse is saying, no, we don't want to sign that.
No, I understand. Trust me, I understand that's not the best way, but it works great in a lot of situations. But going forward, you got to plan differently now for those situations.
So it's like you're
that
saying
pop
with
up.
the Cleavers. If we would have rolled the clock forward, then when Tony Dow, when Wally got married, he might have ended up getting divorced, or when Beaver got married, he might have ended up getting divorced, or if Hugh would have signed the deed over to the two of them, maybe the Beaver would have refused to sign off when
or the bankruptcy.
when Dad needed to
Or
transfer.
Or the
you
bankruptcy.
find a lot of people put their kids on the title with them, and then their kid needs to file a bankruptcy. And now you've got a bankruptcy trustee that comes in and says, you know what? I'm going to sell the house.
And that's
off from
a
under
new
you,
law,
Mom and
right?
Dad.
So you
Because
can-
the old days it was protected if it was joint, but under the new bankruptcy law,
Well,
it's at risk.
The asset, if it's owned,
Husband and
tenants
wife.
and husband and wife, I can protect it
No,
90% of the time.
with the
But if
kid.
it's with the kid, no, it's never been protected. And the most recent change to the laws in 2005 absolutely made it so that trustees can just do whatever they want.
And over the last 15 years, the role of the trustee has become far more aggressive than it
Right.
used to be.
Yes.
So it's
So
a, it's a
35
problem.
years ago when
The
they went
trustee
to that
probably
lawyer,
wouldn't have worried about it.
right, now the new law, the new changes, all that type of stuff, you have
Trustee
to
wants
plan
to
for
get
that.
the money, because if the trustee gets the money, trustee gets a portion of the money that he gets. It's all about money, unfortunately.
And you know,
that's
the
way
thing is, you
system
could
works.
avoid all these problems if you just did the proper document, which is a trust. You fund the trust.
A living trust.
A living trust. You fund the trust with the home. It goes to who you want it to go to when you pass, but while you're alive, you have complete control over it. Or you can do a ladybird deed, which helps with Medicaid planning. The bottom line is that there's a right way and a wrong way to do estate planning. Adding your kids to the deed with joint tenants with full rights of survivorship or some other methodology is most definitely the wrong way to do it.
Absolutely not. There's another category, and we're not going to have time to cover it, but I want to throw it out there. Problems where documents are created, but something is missing. The first one we can cover quickly. People do a living trust all the time, and it's the smart move so that you avoid probate when you pass away. But in order to accomplish that, you must fund the trust while you're living, which means after the documents are created, you must transfer your bank accounts and your real estate holdings into the trust so that at the time you pass away, they are already in the trust. Right. If they're not in the trust when you pass away, you still have to probate those assets. Right. That's something that the right planner makes sure that the client takes care of that business after the documents are created. They don't just say, so long, see you in 10 years. That's a wrap. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for watching.